or the battery doctor has forget to connect the discharging cable. Let's try again. Today I have a battery I have never seen before, but I know many of you might have seen, because this is for a bike called B-Twin, and it's from a French like Walmart company. I think they are Decathlon, and this guy bought it in Germany. This was never sold in Sweden, so it's nothing strange that we never seen this before. And I can tell you just by looking at it, I'm 100% sure that it's TranzX that has manufactured, or at least designed, this battery. Here on the cells we see AE. They make LiPo cells. And this is not LiFePO4 battery, it's lithium, and they always swell up like crazy. But I haven't seen anything like this, and I think the customer opened it up because it was too swollen. It can't even fit here anymore, so maybe it even broke down the corners. Have the case pushing against the top part, especially when you have a temp sensor here, that could damage the cells. At the sides you can see they use this EVA foam tape, and this one has been stretched down to less than 1 millimeter. And the original TranzX 24 volt, we actually have a little roof that is a little higher up, so even if the cells swell up, they will only push at the case with the corners here. This is extremely swollen, and everything else inside this battery tells me this is made by TranzX. They have the extra GST so we can measure each cell. They have this ferret coil, the same connector. The case looks very similar, but they have a different discharge connector. And the charger should say TranzX. Yes, TranzX charger. The charger is made by Modiary for TranzX. So it should be made in China somewhere here. They're made in China. They're fairly good stuff, and they were used in Sweden a while by Crescent, but from what I heard, TranzX is charging kind of much for the e-bike system. They switched to Filion. TranzX is still used, but it's very, very rare. In Sweden, that is. In Germany, I believe they are still very big. At least 36 volt version. I also asked the customer to bring their bike in because there is a 4-pin connector. And now that they know that this is TranzX, they have 2 extra pins and they are actually connected. They should have that in the charging port. No! XLR. Where's the charging port? How do you charge the battery? That doesn't work. Even though where's the charging port? Can somebody point that out to me? How does he charge his battery? Oh, sorry. I'm a little new to this battery. There's a charging port. 3 wires going to the charging port. They have 1 extra. I really don't know what they are used for. Usually the one in the charging port isn't used at all for communicating with the charger. Rather TranzX diagnostic system. Here on the e-bike they can choose to lock their batteries to the e-bikes. You can only use original TranzX batteries. The original 24 volt version that was used in Sweden was never locked. However, it was communicating how many percent of the battery is left on the display via the communicator port, not the actual voltage. So in some cases when we repaired it with new BMS, it wouldn't show the voltage. Then we had to drill a hole here and include an indicator for the customer. So we know a lot about the old TranzX, but we've never seen this before. We can repair it and we can use the original electronics, or we can change the electronics. But he bought the bike in, so we are gonna test it with a generic 24 volt battery. Here it actually says Decathlon on the wire going to the charger. So maybe they have locked the charger to the original BMS. We will have to try that as well. Here's the B-Twin e-bike I was talking about. I think it looks pretty weird. Like a do-it-yourself kit, since it has a little bicycle bag here with the controller in it. And maybe not the best weatherproofing. And look at this pass-through. Oh, that's actually pretty decent. However, we are here to test if the e-bike will run on a generic battery. This is our battery bag. I happen to put it in the cargo space of my cargo bike, but I cannot run my cargo bike on this because I don't want to. But it happened to be right next to the bike, so I put the bike cargo over there. This is lead-acid cells, and we haven't charged it for ever. So I tried running it on 20 volts, it wouldn't start. So now I'm trying running it on 32 volts and it just won't start. I disconnected everything in the case and connected negative for discharging and positive for discharging. And the only thing I can think of now is that the fuse is broken, so I'm gonna bypass the fuse. We are in luck. I think it was the fuse or the fuse holder. And now we're getting 32 volts in the discharging port. So we're gonna switch this one to 21 volt. I will turn it off because there is no inrush spark protection. Now we're running 21 volt and let's see if it wanna start. Come on. There could be an additional button somewhere. I wanted to press this, but I think that's just the logo. It looks like an indicator, but either the e-bike is broken or it will only communicate with an original battery, or there might be some unplugged wires or something like that. Or the battery doctor has forget to connect the discharging cable. Let's try again. Okay, last chance, switch to 21 volts. And we actually, low battery is correct because it's just 21 volts, but it turns on. It's not drawing that much power. Let's switch up to 31 volts. Let's switch up to 31 volts and we can turn it on. There is no error message, but the indicator is blinking low voltage, which is not true since you're getting 31 volts. So I lifted the bike up and I started to pedal and the motor is turning. So what did we learn? At the between nameless, maybe it's called box, you can repair the battery, replace the BMS, but the indicator on the display will just blink low battery. But it will work. It will work if you absolutely have to. Because I don't think these batteries are manufactured anymore. I checked a lot of European sites for different kinds of popular e-bike batteries and I've never ever seen this between battery. So good news if you want to repair it. And put an indicator on the battery case and you will solve most of the customer's problems.